Now, we are going to go with the Simplex model, which is the extension of your LPP. The LPP was the one wherein we have only learnt until the graphical mode how we can solve it. But this is a one more kind of a problem which is going to tell us the exact maximization values. Now, Simplex model, again you have been divided into different types. Among this one we are doing with the maximization problems first. So maximization, in the maximization problems, like two values are going to be added, either slack values we are going to add or surplus values we are going to deduct. Now when I'm going with the maximization, I'm going to add a slack value. So how I need to find out whether it is added to be added with a slack value or to be deducted with a surplus value? This is a sign you are going to remember. The maximization, whenever my whatever I'm going to talk about, this one, these are called my solutions. So my solutions should be the greater value when compared to this equation. So to have these values to be the greater, or this equation has to be equalized with the solution, then something has to be added here so that it becomes a equalizing value. So in this case, when my solution should be the greater, then something I need to add, and that addition is called as the slack value. Now only for these equations, if I'm going to add slack values, it is not sufficient. When I'm adding any extra variables here, it is must that I need to add even to the maximization. So my actual maximization is equation is this one, but as to equalize these factors, I'm adding a slack values. So how many equations I got subject to constraint? I got 3. So I'm going to add 3 slack values. So here first, before that one, I'm going to go with the maximization equation 4x plus 10y. Now subject to constraint, I'm going to add 2x plus y, and this is as it is my equation number 1, so I'm going to add slack value 1. So that's how it is going to equalize to 50. And whereas my second one is 2x plus 3y plus already s1 I have added, so I can't add as s1 again, so I'll add s2, which is going to be equal to the 100. And the last one I'm going to add is 2x plus 3y plus 1, 2 is done. Now I have to add 3, that is equal to 90. So how many slack values I have added? I have added 3. So now these 3 I am going to add here. Now these values have no value, so that's why 0, coefficient of 0 s1, coefficient of 0 s2, and yes 3. So this is how my EM maximization equation has been ready. Now this is also my problem is ready to get into the step. So before we get into the step, actually there is one procedure which we have to follow, and the table we are going to use it, and this table we call it as iteration table. Iteration table 1, first I am getting into. Iteration table is like we are finding the maximum solution which we want to find out. So first on this top we are going to have Cj. Below to this one we are going to have basic values. We call that one as basic values. So this is CBI, and how it is going to be. Cj values are nothing but whatever the basic values, the basic equation, whatever I'm taking is x, y and s1. So these are my basic values. So I'm going to take as x, y, and s1 I have added, s2 I have added, and here I have added s3. So this is, and to this one coefficients, the main maximization, whatever the coefficients we are going to add, this one I'm going to add here. For x it is a 4, for y it is a 10, and whereas for these three things it is 0, 0 and 0. And whenever we are going to go with the first solution, whatever I have added extra slack values, I am going to take these extra slack values as my basic values onto the vertical part. So same wise, whatever the slack values we have got coefficients, I'm going to add here also. So this is how my one part is done. Now to this one, next I'm going to have this column to be my solutions. I'll let you know what is that. And then I'm going to have a ratio of this one. Now once I have made this table with the maximization, now I'm going to get into the next part wherein these three equations I'm supposed to use it. So the x values I have to fill it up. So all the x values which are there, I'm going to fill it up into these coefficient values, whereas a y which is going to, when nothing is there, I'm going to assume it is a 1 and then 3 and then 3. Here when I have nothing value, so how I have assumed as a 1, here also I'm supposed to assume it is to be the same 1. So S1 is a 1. Do I have extension of S2 and S3? No. So I'm going to assume they are to be 0. Whereas here S2 is a 1 and whereas here S3 is a 1. So the rest are the values I'm going to assume it is to be my zeros. And what about these solutions? Solutions are nothing but these solutional values. Now this is how my table is done. Now the next value I'm going to find out is Zj. So how I'm going to find out the Zj is, I'm going to find out a new values of x, y, s1, s2 and s3 I'm going to find out. So how I'm going to find out is CBI multiplied with x1 values. So I'm going to multiply here as CBI values, whatever I'm going to be, I'll be multiplying with all the x values and I'm going to get the solution. Likewise, CBI values multiplied with y and likewise CBI values multiplied with S1, S2 and likewise. But here we have got a 3 in the sequence, so I have to multiply with the x value, then plus I'm going to multiply with the second value, plus I'm going to multiply with the 3, and that's how I'm going to make it up. So for the first one, we are going to get all the values to be 0. Very simple, because we have all zeros here. So anything multiplied with a 0 is equal to 0. So 0 into 2 plus 0 into 2 plus 0 into 2, which is going to be 0. And 0 into 1 is a 0 plus 0 into 3 plus 0 into 3. Everything is going to be a 0 for us because everything I'm multiplying with a 0. So I'm going to get a 0 itself. So once I got this one, now I'm supposed to go for finding out, and here also for the solution also we'll find out 0 into 50 plus 0 into 100 plus 0 into 90, which is going to be 0 here. So once I got to know about this one, now I'm going to find out Cj minus Zj. So Cj are these values, Zj's are these values. So this part is going to be very important because this is going to tell us whether we have to stop here or we are supposed to continue here. So that is the reason it is must that I need to find out my Cj minus Zj. So Cj is a 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. 10 Cj is 10 minus Zj is equal to 0. So 10 minus 0 is equal to 10. 0 minus 0, 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. So then here I'm going to go with anything here also it is going to be 0. I need not go with finding out. So this is how I have done it. Now in our maximization problems, remember it is always important that the solutions whatever I have got, the Cj minus Zj in the maximization problems, my Cj minus Zj should be either 0 or it should be negative values. So either my value should be 0, how I got here, or they should be negative. But here I didn't have any negative values, I have got a positive values. That means I'm supposed to continue my sum. So before continuing the sum, what I have to do it, anything I have to continue, something I have to pick from my previous table. So that's how I'm picking up. So in the maximization, first table I'm going to go for picking up by looking into the among all these one maximum value I have to pick it up. So among a 4, 10, zeros and 0, my maximum value is going to stand is 10. So here 3, whenever we are moving forward, we have to find out the 3 things, that is key column, key row and key element. These are 3 things which helps us in finding out or sorting out the things for the next level. So first among this one, key column I'm going to find out. So just now I said a maximum value I'm picking up. So from maximum values, this one becomes my key column. Now I'm supposed to go for finding out my key row. So how I'm going to find out a key row is simply, now I got a 3 values. So my ratio, I'll use taking a solution and these values into consideration, I'll try to find out a ratio. So how? 50 divided by first value is 1, which is equal to 50. 100 divided by 3 is the one which is going to be, sorry, here we have got, this is 5 actually. So 100 divided by 5, which is equal to 20. And the next one, 90 divided by 3 is equal to 30. So these are the ratios which I am finding out. So once I select this column, taking these values parallelly, I'm going to divide my solutional values with my column values, whatever I have selected. So that's how 50 minus 50 divided by 1, 100 divided by 5, and 90 divided by 3. So now in this particular one, Cj minus Zj, I picked up a maximum value. To this opposite, I'm going to pick up among these three solutions the minimum value. So 50, 20, 30, among these the minimum value is our 20. So that's how my total row is going to become my key row. Now I got my key column, which is this one. I got my key row, which is this one. Now, what is the key element? Key element is nothing but the intersecting point of the key row and the key column is going to be called as key element. So, my 5 is key element. So, that's how I got my 3 factors. Now, I'm going to proceed to the next level. Now, we are going to go with the next iteration table number 2. So I said, like, as I didn't get my negative values, here I got few zeros, but I didn't have the negative value, so there is no choice. I need to get into the next level. So next level, my table is ready here. So the same Cj basic values, and then I have to go with filling up our coefficients. And remember, for a Cj, coefficients never changes because we are taking off maximum equation. So it will be as usual 4, 10, 0, 0 and a 0 here. And here basic values, now I have to be little bit careful because when I am getting into my key element, this plays a lot of important role here. So my S1 is going to stay here same, my S3 is going to stay here same, but whereas when I select my key element, the value, basic value is going to shift here. So instead of S2, because it is a row, key row, so this is going to shift with the column value. So my Y value, it is going to take a place in the basic value cases. Now S1 was as usual 0, S3 was as usual 0, whereas when I talk about a Y, the Y value is 10, so which I'm going to take it here 10. So whenever my next table I'll go, the key element is a 1, which is going to help me in shifting out. This value will leave, and in this place a new value is going to take a place. Now getting out this one, previously we had this kind of equation, so we have taken all this value and I have filled it up. But now these values has to be changing, and how I'm going to change that I will tell. The first one, when my key element is there, my total row has to be divided. Whatever the total row has been selected, the total row simply we are going to divide with our key element. Everything I'm going to divide with my key element. So first I'm going to go with itself value. So 5 divided by 5, which is equal to 1. 2 divided by 5, which is equal to 2 by 5. Anything divided by 0 is equal to 0 here. Then 1 divided by 5 is equal to 1 by 5. 0 divided by 5 is equal to 0. So my key row, when my key element, wherever the row it is going to stay, that particular row simply we divide with our key element. So 2 by 5, 5 by 5, 0 by 5, 1 by 5, 0 by 5. So that's how I got my values. But when it comes to the finding of the above and the below, there is a formula we are supposed to follow. So what is the formula for new values is, the formula is new value is equal to old value minus key correspondence row value multiplied by key correspondence column value divided by key element. So this is a formula. So the formula is going looks like a bigger one, but I'll tell you the trick how you have to remember it. So the new values formula, usually whenever the row has been selected, this doesn't make an effect, but whereas the new values which I have to follow for above and below, I have to compulsory go for using this particular formula. So the formula, once again I'm repeating it, it is nothing but new value is equal to old value minus key correspondence row value multiplied with key correspondence column value divided by key element. So how I am going to find it out? Now let's go with, I'm going with my S1 factors which I'm supposed to find out. So for the S1 factors I'm going. Now my S1 factors, all my old values, I'm going to take it into the sequence order so that it is going to be easy for us. So my old values, first I said old value minus. So that's why first all the old values I'm taking it. So whereas X1 when I'm finding out 2 minus. Now for the Y value it is going to be, the old value is 1 minus. And for S1 it is going to be again 1 minus. And whereas for S2 it is going to be 0 minus, and whereas for S3 it is going to be 0 minus. So these all my old values, whatever I have got in the old values, I have taken it. Now coming down to the key correspondence row value into key correspondent column value. And in every formula it has to be divided with key element, and you all know what is our key element. 5 is our key element. So I am going to divide everything divided by 5 here, my key element. Now let's see the key correspondent row and key correspondent column. So remember, key correspondent row, key correspondent value is nothing but this is our column. So when I am finding the values for a S1, every time I pick out the word called key correspondent column value means it is, I'm talking about a 1. Every time I'm going to multiply with 1. Every time. So why? Because we have selected these as a key column. So I have to multiply whenever I'm going to use the word called key correspondent value. Every time I'm going to multiply with 1. So when I'm talking about all these things about a S1, so in all the case I'm going to multiply with 1 itself. For all these total row it is going to be multiplied with 1. Yeah. Now when it comes to the row, key correspondent row. So what is our key correspondent row? This is the selected part of the row. So how it is going to be is, now I'm talking about X factor value. So that's why the correspondent row value is going to be my 2. I'm going with my S1 only, but I'm finding out for the Y. So my key correspondent value is 5. Now I'm talking about my S1, the old value is 1, and here I'm going to select these values only, but equal row values I'm going to select. And here I'm going to go with selecting of S2, the old value is 0 and correspondent row value is 1, and here my old value is 0 and my correspondent row value is 0 again. So this is how I'm going to find it out. Now let us go with finding out for S3 and my X value I'm getting in. Now S3 I'm going with, and I'm finding out my X, Y, S1, S2 and S3. So how I'm going to find it out? Y, S1, S2 and S3. Now just now I said first it is always important, better we go with taking up all the old values at a time. So my formula is old value minus. So S3 all the old values is 2, 3, 0, 0, 1. So I'm taking it 2 minus, 3 minus, 0 minus, 0 minus and 1 minus. So my old values I have taken here. What we know first, better you always complete that one. It is going to be easy for you. Now I said for everything I'm going to divide with what? Key element. So what is my key element? Key element is my 5. So I'm going to go with 5 divided by 5 divided by 5, here also 5 and a 5. Now I'm talking about a correspondent column value. So for these particular S3, my column value is, selected column value is 3. So everything I'm going to multiply with 3 here. Everything I'm going to multiply is with 3. Now I have to go with correspondent row value. So what it is said, whatever the selected row will be the one parallelly we are going to select. So here my first for S3 and X value, my correspondent row value is 2. So 2. Now when I come to my Y value, my correspondent row value is 5. When I come here for S1, my correspondent value is 0. When I go with S2, my correspondent value is 1. And when I come here, it is going to be correspondent value is equal to 0. So the selected values I'm going to go with. So let's go with solving out this one now. Once I have, I think I have made it very clear so that it is going to be very easy. The old values I'm writing it first. Then the key element I'm dividing in all the cases. And common column value I'm going to multiply for the one particular row, and for the next row one column value I have multiplied commonly. The only thing you have to go with, every time the parallel row value is going to change, that to selected one only we are going to select. So now let's go with solving out these things, and let's fill the things. Now here 2 into 1 is equal to 2. 2 divided by, so 2 minus 2 divided by 5, wherein I can't solve it, so that's why I'm going to cross multiply it. So 5 2s are 10, so 10 minus 2 by 5, which is equal to 8 by 5. So my first value is 8 by 5. Now coming down, I'm going with my S1 factors because I have gone with S1. Here it is S3. So now the next one is 5 into 5, 5. So 5 ones are 5 and divided by 5. So it is going to be 1. So 1 minus 1 is equal to, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So my second value is 0. Then 0 into 1 is equal to 0. Anything divided by 0 is equal to, again it's a 0. So 1 minus 0 is equal to 1 here. Then here it is 1 into 1 is equal to 1. So 0 minus 1 by 5, which is equal to minus 1 by 5, I'm going to get it. And then 0 minus anything divided by 0 is equal to 0. So their value is going to 0. So let's fill this one. 1 we have filled it up, and the next one is minus 1 by 5, and the next one is 0. Now let's go for filling this part. Now here it is 2 3s are 6 and 6 by 5. So here it is going to be 2 minus 6 by 5, which I can't go for it. So I'm going to cross multiply. So 5 2s are 10 again. 10 minus 6 by 5 is equal to 4 by 5. So I'm going to take first value 4 by 5. Then here 5 3s are 15, and 15 divided by 5 is equal to, you'll get 3. So 3 minus 3 is equal to 0 here. Then 0 into anything is equal to 0. So here 0 minus 0 is equal to again 0. Then 3 ones are 3 divided by 5. So that is 0 minus 3 by 5, which is equal to minus 3 by 5, because we have got a minus here. And the last one, 1 minus anything divided by 0 is equal to 0. So this is 1 minus 0, which is equal to 1 here. So that's how I have filled it out. Now the same way I have to fill it up even for my solutions also. Solutions are also not exception. So I need to fill it up. So what is my previous solutions? 50 here, 100 here, and 90. Now this part I simply said everything I'll divide with my key element. So 100 divided by 5 is equal to, it is going to be 20 as usual. But whereas for a 50, I'll go with the same. What is the value here I'm going to go with? My old value is 50 minus divided by 5, and 1 is a key correspondent column value, and multiplied with the correspondent, that is 100. So 100 divided by 5 is equal to 20. So 50 minus 20 is equal to 30 I'm going to get. So that's how I'm going to place here. Now coming down to the S3 solution also, how I'm going to do it? Same. What is the old value of this one? 90. So 90 minus same, divided by 5. And here, what is a key column value? Commonly 3. And what is the correspondent value of this one? As usual, it is 100. So 100 into 3 is equal to 300. 300 divided by 5, it is going to be 60. So therefore 90 minus 60 is equal to 30. So that's how I got my 30 as a value. Now let's go with finding out the ZJ values. Now ZJ values, I said it is nothing but we are going to multiply these coefficient values with individual and we will try to add it. Now here I'm going to explain you very detailedly for this one so that it is easy for you to understand even for the first one also. Now 0 into 8 by 5 plus 10 into 2 by 5 plus 0 into 4 by 5. So that's how I'm going to get my x value. So 0 into 8 by 5 plus 10 into 2 by 5 plus 0 into 4 by 5. So these things will be 0 again, 0 plus now 20 divided by 5 which is equal to 4 again 0. So therefore it is going to be my value 4. So I got 4 here. Now when it comes to the y, now everything I have to multiply with the y. So here y 0 into 0 plus 10 into 1 plus 0 into 0. Therefore it is going to be 10 here. So that's how I got 10. Now coming down to the next value, 0 into 1 plus 10 into 0 plus 0 into 0, which is equal to again 0 itself. Then the next one, S2, 0 into anything, that is 0 into minus 1 by 5 plus 10 into 1 by 5 which is equal to 2 and 0 into minus 3 by 5 which is equal to, here this will be 0, this only will be 10 by 5 is equal to 2. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 which is equal to 2. So 2 here I got. And the last one is 0 into 0, 10 into 0 plus 0 into 1. So again that turns out to be the 0. So that's how I got solution. Now let's go with this one also. 0 into 30. Solutions I am doing. This is for solution. Plus 10 into 20 plus 0 into 30 which is equal to 200. So this is how I got my 200. Now what did I said? We will go with finding out what? Same as usual, Cj minus Zj. So let's go with finding out. Hope so we are going to get a solution now. So 4 minus 4 is 0. 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. 0 minus 2 is equal to minus 2. 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. So now let's, whatever the condition I spoke about, that is the condition we have sorted out. That is, I said Cj minus Zj should be either 0 or a negative values. And that's how we got all the zeros and one negative value we got. So here we are going to end with a solution. Our solution is done. And our solution is nothing but this is your answer. And if you want to cross check whether it is right or wrong, I'll tell you one more thing, that is maximization of z was 4x plus 10y plus 0s1 plus 0s2 plus 0s3. Now whatever I have got this y element, this is going to be our solution 20. So y is equal to 20, I got it. Now x values, we didn't get any x values here. So that's why only y value I'm going to apply, which is of 20. So x I'm going to assume it is 0. Now 10 into 20 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, because I only said coefficients are 0. So now 0 plus 10 into 20 is equal to 200 plus 0 plus 0 plus. Therefore my solution, whatever I got in my table, is also same and my solution. This is how it is going to be done. Hope so it is clear for you.